Now, if we turn to the next page, we're going to see the very first section in the book. And remember, again, every section in the book has two parts to it. The hands-on, discovery-based, inquiry type activity, and the second part, which is your direct instruction lesson. So this is day number 1, and we're working on the very first section called integers and absolute value. Every activity begins with an essential question. We want the kids not only to know what the objective is here, but what's in it for me? What's the buy-in? Why do I need to know this information that I'm going to get ready to explore? Now, over in the teaching edition page, you're going to be introduced now to Lori's notes. Dr. Lori Boswell is a master middle school teacher. She has taught for a number of years, has done all of the activities that you will see in the textbook, and so she wrote the teaching edition as a teacher talking to another teacher. She's going to share with you her words of wisdom, her FYIs, and her bits of advice. So it's a very nice piece to share with you as a teacher sharing information with another teacher. So let's see what's here on this very first page. In the introduction, you can see for the teacher, we've listed the goal in mind so that you know where we're heading. The motivational piece, it's always great to start a lesson with a motivational piece to get the kids excited, interested, and wanting to learn more. Then when you get to the activity notes, Lori again shares with you pieces that you're going to need throughout the activity to keep the kids thinking in a narrower, deeper way. Anytime you see that question mark symbol, those are terrific questions that you can ask the class to get them talking, discussing, and going deeper with the mathematics. Off to the side, you'll see a list of the materials that you'll need for the activity, the start thinking and warm-up activities, which are available both online and on disk, that you can use to, again, motivate, get the class thinking, setting the stage for today's lesson. And the answers to the record and practice journal pages. The record and practice journal, again, is the student consumable book where they're going to record the information that they need to list as they're doing the activities in the textbook. So let's go to the next page and take a look at some more of the information in Lori's notes. She continues on with the activities, giving you information to share as the students are doing these activities in the book. Again, here's your words of wisdom. Lori sharing some advice with you. And every activity and every lesson ends with some closure. So Lori shares some pieces that you can use so that closure doesn't have to be the bell ringing at the end of the period. Off to the side, you're going to see there's some strategies for differentiation in the classroom. In this particular piece, here's a vocabulary strategy that you can use for your English language learners. These vocabulary suggestions are good not just for ELL students, but even for special needs students, or in many cases, all of the students in our class can benefit from those suggestions. Now, if we take a look at the next page, this is the start of the lesson. And in the lesson, you can now see that Lori's notes have included a connection piece. Let's take what we discovered yesterday, or hopefully discovered yesterday, and bridge that with what we're getting ready to do today within that lesson. Again, here's your motivational section and lots of red question marks, so lots of different questioning techniques that you can use to get the best out of your students. Here are your lesson notes with the key ideas and examples for you to use. You'll notice there are extra examples off to the side for you, the teacher. And on the second page, again, the examples are stepped out for you. More words of wisdom from Lori. Look at example number 4, FYI. Again, she's going to share with you from a one-to-one basis some things that she feels are important for you to know. And the closure activity is a great little exit slip, exit ticket activity that you can have the kids do the last couple of minutes of class, hand it to you on a little slip of paper as they're walking out the door. Check out on the side, you can see differentiated instruction. Here's a kinesthetic activity that you might want to use to reach more of your different types of students and their learning modalities in your classroom. Now on the next page, you're going to see the exercise set. Off on the side on your teacher page, you're going to see a green and white chart that's called the assignment guide and homework check. The assignment guide will list for you, depending on the level of student that you have in your classroom, basic, average, or advanced, what types of activities or what types of exercises from the exercise set should you be assigning those students? So here you can see day one, after the students have done the hands-on activity, all three levels of students are going to be assigned the same problems, 4 through 11 and 46 to 50. But after the lesson has been taught, here we can do a little differentiation and assign problems differently depending on whether you're teaching to a basic, an average, or an advanced level of student. Off to the side of the chart in the far right column, you'll see something called the homework check. If you've been frustrated in the past that it's taken way too long to go over homework with your students, you can choose to use the homework check. The problems listed on the homework check are the only ones that you have to go over with the students to make sure that they have gotten all of the valuable information that they needed to get out of that assignment. So if you assigned many problems from homework, you really do not have to take time to go over each and every one of those problems. You simply can go over the problems that you see here on the homework check. Lori has also listed here your common errors to share with you. Again, for a newer teacher, this is certainly valuable. Although I must say, again, being a teacher in the classroom for a number of years, it continually surprised me some of the errors that students would make in particular problems. So it's good to have a list of the common errors so that you're aware ahead of time of some of the things that the students might do as they're working out some of these exercises. On the second page, on page 7, T7 in your teaching edition, you're going to see a piece called Taking Math Deeper. Ron Larson has chosen one problem from each of the homework assignments and has taken that particular problem deeper. So in this exercise set, he chose problem number 41, which is talking about a coral reef, and he has taken that to the next level. So for a time period where you're going over homework with your students, you might want to say, folks, we're all going to now take a look at problem number 41, and I want to show you how we can take this problem to the next level. So it gives you an opportunity to do as the program mentions, a narrower, deeper curriculum. We want to take math deeper. At the bottom here, you can see that red and white chart again, that reteaching and enrichment strategy piece. We want to have pieces available for the students who still need some help after they've gone through these exercises and don't quite have it. But again, for the students who do have it, what can we do to enrich them? And those strategies are listed here as well. Now, as you continue to peruse the pages that follow, you will see the same format occurs for each of the sections in the book. You have the activity pages, then you have your lesson pages, and then your exercise pages. Until you get to the halfway point in each chapter, which in the red book, I'm on page 20. Halfway through every chapter in each of the books in the series, you're going to see a study help page, which includes a graphic organizer. The graphic organizers are all online, so students could print them at home, and they're also in your resources by chapter book so that you can make copies for your students to use as well. So here, this particular chapter is using an idea and examples chart, and on your teaching edition page, you can see some sample answers for the on your owns that occur on the student page. And then the matching page to the study help page is your mid-chapter quiz. Here on the mid-chapter quiz, you have for your teaching edition that familiar red and white box again, giving you some suggestions for when the students have it or they don't have it, where can you go for additional resources. Now, if you would skip forward to the end of the chapter, in the red book in chapter 1, I'm on page 41 and T41 in the teaching page part of that. But depending on what book you're using, you can go to the end of whichever chapter you would like. But at the end of the chapter, you will see a chapter review, which lists each of the sections of the book, gives some examples and some more practice problems for the students to try. And on the teaching edition page, you will see a review of the common errors. We're getting ready to take a chapter test, so before the students take that summative assessment, we want to make sure that they're not going to make those same errors that they made throughout the course of the chapter, both in practice, perhaps on the quizzes, and so on. So we're going to review those common errors. When you look on the next page, you're going to see that in addition to this review activity, we do have a review game available on our website. So if you go to bigideasmath.com and you click on the Teachers tab, on the right-hand side, you're going to see a place called Big Ideas Games Closet. When you click on the game closet, you're going to see a lot of games that help the students practice with prerequisite skills. So here we're suggesting that as a review activity, the students might want to do the integer operations review game. Flipping to the next page, you'll see a blank sheet where you will be able to record your thoughts on the chapter. What kinds of things worked well, what kinds of things didn't work as well as you hoped, and what kinds of things would you do differently. So that next year when you go to teach the same chapter, you've got some information there to remind you about things that worked out well, didn't work well, and things that you wanted to do a little bit differently. Then on the next page, you're going to see the chapter test. Not only did we include the chapter test, but we also included a reference piece on the teaching page that shows you for each of the questions on the chapter test where they were located in the actual chapter, as well as some test-taking strategies and some assessment errors that you might run into. There's that familiar red and white box again with those teaching and enrichment strategies. Now, if you're looking for another form of this chapter test, you'll notice off to the side here you can go to the assessment book and you can get 2 more forms of a chapter test just like this one. Online, those assessment book pages are editable. And as well, you can go to the ExamView test generator and create some additional assessment pieces if you would prefer. Now, after the chapter test, the next page shows the standardized test practice. Standardized test practice includes item analysis. So when you have the students do the standardized test, you can share with them what answer was correct, but also why they may have chosen one of the answers that was not the correct answer. So for example, here on question number 1, you can see that C is the correct answer. But some of the students may have chosen A for their answer, and you can see the reason why they may have possibly chosen that answer. So we like to share that with you as far as the standardized test practice pages are concerned. And that, folks, is a tour of your Big Ideas Math Teaching Edition. I hope you found this helpful as you get ready to plan your lessons and start your school year. I hope you have a wonderful school year. Again, my name is Larry Dorff, Math Curriculum Consultant for Big Ideas Learning, and I hope you have a wonderful day.